change. And today I am talking to Chan I from Chan Crazy Records. He is out there in Sweden right now, and he's got a lot of things that have changed. And we're doing this series right now on coronavirus to talk about what's happening with indie artists all over the world as a result of this pandemic, how they're changing up their strategy, things that, they're going to be doing things differently, of course, as different venues shut down and different things start to happening. But this is the series where you can hear from the indie artists, hear what they're doing, get some inspiration. Also, don't feel like you're in this alone, because we are all here together, all making adjustments, and you're going to learn how to do that from this series. I'm going to talk to Chan right now. Hang on a sec. How are you, Anthony? It's great to have you here on AVA Live Radio. What is going on? Are you in Sweden right now?
Yeah, I'm in Sweden right now. Right now in Sweden, it's kind of. I kind of figure out many people is not really taking so much precautions at the moment, because everyone is still, because Sweden is not really having the same situation like Italy or maybe America, UK,
right,
and China.
That's good to hear.
This is the problem. Everyone is waiting until the virus comes to their door, start running around and panic, and it's really funny to see how people react to everything.
So what's the reaction right now? I'm assuming there is a run on supermarkets like it is all over the world. Is that happening there too?
Well, in some of the supermarkets, when you go there, some of the shelves are starting to become empty, because I think everyone is trying to stock up on stuff that they know is really going to be necessary if it should be like lockdown or something like this.
Right. So they're following, like, in other words, it seemed like there was a run on everything, the resources in other countries like Australia. There was a big run before it happened here in Canada, and even before it happened in some places in the US. But this past week, people that I've talked to in Florida and Atlanta and especially New York, right, and Ohio, they're completely wiped out in the supermarkets. So they're waiting for the restocking to happen. There's lines around the corner. It's kind of pandemonium right now as far as just, your basic needs. And that really affects us,
Yeah, that affects us. And I was looking at, this morning I was looking at some of your indoor, I see you're doing a lot of farming indoor. You're planting different kind of plants and food. I was thinking, oh my God, what a good idea. You came up with so good ideas so early.
Yeah, I know. I heard about the coronavirus in December in China. And it's not like I anticipated it coming worldwide like this, but I had wanted to start a hydroponic garden for a long time. And I just moved into this new place. And I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and get everything because I'm really just antsy to get it started. And I wanted to make sure that I had access to organics. And I was getting really into, health and wanting not to have to buy organics from sources that weren't really, really fresh all year long. Plus, it was winter here, so it just made sense. So as I started getting into it, I did it more and more. And then the coronavirus just kind of came at our door. And now I already have my first little crop going, so the timing was amazing.
Well, I really don't know what to say. I just think I'm just kind of sad. Because, when you look from the beginning where everything is starting, and they're telling you it's because, people is eating all these kind of rodents, and they're eating worms and bats and eat everything that moves.
Yeah.
That's trying to show many people that, humans, we're not like carnivores. We should most eat vegetarian, eat a lot of fruits, eat the beans, because if you don't need to eat meat, you get proteins that you need from meat, you get it from the beans. So you can eat different kind of peas and beans, and it's a lot of things that the human population need to reconsider.
I totally agree with that. I'm really big on health because it keeps my energy up. And in order to do my job, and do it right. I need to have that energy. And I like to have that because it just breeds positivity. It makes me feel good. When I'm not dragging myself around the office or dragging myself from task to task, feeling tired, it frees my mind up to think about other things. And, more than anybody, because you're really into this, when your mind is free, you get great ideas. And that's where all the magic happens.
So now I think it's going to be a lot of magic happening when everyone is isolating home and running away from the coronavirus pandemic that's happening at the moment.
For
I think a lot of
creatives,
people are going to be a lot creative and everything.
I understand what you're saying. And in a way, for creative people, I mean, in Canada, when something like this happens, the government steps in and they help people financially, if they're laid off of work and they have to stay home because they are sick. And it goes to say that if you're sick and you're home and you have to self-isolate, you probably don't feel like being productive. But for creative people, sometimes music and, just doing what you do and what you normally don't have a lot of time to do makes you feel better. So,
yeah, that's
right.
True.
And also for the people who are just staying in at night after work, they still have to go out, but they're going to like self-contain inside, self-quarantine in the evenings and on the weekends. This is a great time actually to hit social media. I was just about to do a story about how a lot of artists are taking back to live streaming again now. When we all had live streaming as, an initial tool that we could use, everybody did it. And everybody was so excited. They were on Periscope, they were on Facebook, wherever they could do it, they were doing it. But then they got away from it and fell back into those old patterns of, I need to get gigs. It's better to, I don't know why it's better to show up for 20 people than it is to show up online and build a 1,500 person audience. But
I really don't understand what most people is. I really don't understand people. It's like they don't understand the business. Music is a business that you make money from performing live. You make money from streaming online.
Yeah.
You make money in many different ways. You're making money from Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, 15 different outlets. So many. So if people could be a little more smarter, it's better to take more advantage of. To an example, if we should have like a track going 50 million